Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 9th Bigfooty Blues podcast. As always, I am the host, the Wookie. With me is my friend ODN.
Good to see you again.
And my somewhat lesser friend, but still here anyway, devoid of caring.
I'm not your friend.
Oh.
And joining us again for a second bite at the cherry that is this podcast, Justin Battler has returned.
Good evening.
Excellent. We're all sounding deep and manly tonight. Guys, we're going to head straight into it
Hello,
tonight.
girls out there.
Like a bit of man.
Highlights from the weekend. ODN?
I've got to start with Jared Waite, don't we?
Oh, yes.
Good to see him at that sort of. Oh, good to see him putting the hands out in front, sticking the bum out, and taking those and jumping and taking all those grabs and Brisbane. Granted, it was only patful, but Brisbane didn't have an answer for him, and that was my highlight. But if I can mention the lowlights, I've got to mention our goal kicking woes continue.
Yep.
We missed an awful lot of gimme goals, and it's frustrating as all hell. And we tend to keep our opposition in the games for far too long.
That we do. What about you, Justin Battler? What's your highlight or lowlight from the week, or both?
Well, I've got some highlights because I've watched the game again just before the show tonight because I wanted to see where the turning point was in the game. At one stage, we were like 30-odd points ahead into the 12th minute of the second quarter, and it looked like we were just going to march away. And then the game sort of somehow changed. So I'll break my comments into two parts. First part was, how did we get to 35, 36 points ahead in 1.5 quarters with some ordinary kicking thrown in? And then what was the turning point, or what I think was the turning point leading to that lapse period that everyone talks about? Lapse, we have lapses.
We're gonna talk about the game in just a second.
All right, highlights.
Yeah,
okay.
just highlights at the moment, Jab.
Just get to the bloody point, Jab.
Stolen, mate.
Plenty of time for the comments in a minute, but just the highlights.
Robbo's marking in the forward 50.
Yep.
Outstanding. I think we found a jumping jack there. And also, I've got to say, soft as I think he is, Lucas was fantastic on the attack in that first quarter. He was awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
And what about you, devoid of caring? Did you actually watch the game? Or was your highlight the beer you were drinking?
I didn't get to see it. All I got was I was watching the Dreamtime game, and well, yeah.
What?
Let's just not talk about that game. I didn't have a choice. I had no choice. Wasn't allowed to watch the Carlton game. Had to watch that piece of shit game called Dreamtime.
Explain.
My flabber is gasted.
Oh, yep. Wasn't happy.
No,
So yes,
well,
the most I got to see was the tears of the baby blues all crying about how shit our goal kicking is on our board. That's about it.
I did put together a small video of our missed shots to the tune of Under Pressure. But,
Oh, lovely.
Actually, not my original first choice for the song either. I originally used I Ain't Missing You by John Waite.
Oh,
But
yeah.
apparently there's a copyright claim on it by YouTube, so I can't use the song. Go figure.
Well,
Anyway, I thought the name was apt, given that our Waite missed a few goals that he could have got. But anyway, my highlight as well, Jared Waite, absolutely spectacular. Can't go past that. I think Michael Jamieson was again staunch in defence, but definitely Waite was the absolute standout highlight. And across the whole game. Like he didn't do it in the first quarter and then fade out. He was there all game,
Yep.
and that made it worthwhile. All right, since Justin Battler's so keen to get stuck into it, on Saturday night, Carlton defeated Brisbane 13-20, 98 to 12-13, 85. Carlton goals were kicked by Lucas, who kicked 3, Waite kicked 3, Robinson 2, Garlett 2, Murphy, Armfield and Judd, and the best were McLean, Waite, Judd, Murphy and Lucas. Guys, how did you see the game? I guess we'll start with ODN and we'll work our way across. ODN?
Bow, bow.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Yes, we're starting with you, mate.
I muted myself. Aside from what we were talking about as far as the structure that Wake gave us and the goal kicking woes, I like the way Chris Judd worked his way back into it. Brisbane Lions supporters think that the margin was fairly close and they were missing merit, and that's reason enough for them to think they should have beaten us. We were fairly lucky, but we were ahead in all the major stats, and it was just that one lapse, and then the pressure we were putting on ourselves with those missed goal kicking that was that really had us panicking a little bit in the end, and I just again you mentioned Jamison before, and I just want to make a mention that he was doing such a sterling job that big bad John O'Brien decided to try to take him out, and he got his just desserts at the tribunal
and failed in the appeal too, so he's off for 2 weeks.
He did.
All right,
yeah.
Jab, you've got a bit of a speech there apparently. What's your deal, mate?
I'm not a big believer in this lapse. These lapse thing that everyone talks about. We're having lapses.
Yep.
More a momentum thing.
Yeah, in any game, the momentum's going to shift. Backwards and forwards a couple of times at least, because no team in the AFL really rolls over too often these days. You look at Western Bulldogs; they even beat St Kilda on the weekend. But I think that a big turning point in the game was halfway through the second quarter. We had them on the ropes. They were gone. And two things happened. The first thing was we had a turnover. They got the ball into our 50, and there was a ball up or something like that. And Karcher, who had kept Maloney well out of the game up until that point, right? And you got to take your hat off to Amordia. So I reckon he's found a really good one there in Karcher. He does a lot of very clever things, but he missed a tackle on Maloney. And remember that kick that Maloney got? Mm-hmm. I haven't seen Maloney kick a goal before. He kicked one on the turn and it went 45 metres, and it lifted their spirits a bit. And then almost immediately afterwards, we got a break from the centre bounce down the boundary, ends up in Bell's hands, who had done really well to follow up a ball of his own, and running into open goal with Lucas just standing there all by himself. And instead of handballing or chipping it over to Lucas for a certain six-pointer, he went for it for himself and missed. And to me, both those are examples of a team that's full of young guys that are still learning how to throttle the opposition. And it was a real turning point. From there on, Brisbane lifted, and they clawed their way back into the game. I don't think we're ever going to lose the game, but instead of winning by 80 or 90 points, it became a very flattering result in the end for them. But anyway, that was the kind of like. I agree. Talk about all the missed goals, but that's just going to happen. On the missed goals, I think Cruz is very close to kicking a bag of 5. He's marking really well, and his kicking is straight. He was just missing. If you noticed his kicks, they were just missing. I reckon he's very close to getting form again.
He's always been like that, though.
Only since he's come back from his knee injury. I reckon
exactly.
He's nearly there.
When he first debuted for us, didn't he kick something like his first 10 goals before he missed one?
It was like 16
something
goals,
like that.
2 or something.
Yeah, he started off remarkably accurate, even with his helicopters. It's just it probably is since the knee injury.
I don't know if there's a correlation or what, but he hasn't got your confidence when he's kicking, but he's kicking straight. He's just missing. So I reckon he's close. I reckon if he kicks 2 or 3 one game, bang, he'll be back in again.
Well, we can only hope so. We can only hope so. I think, for my mind, Armfield was a standout again. I think he played another great game. White had probably his worst game for the year.
Did you see him
tackle?
play? I didn't see him on the field.
He was there.
I saw him.
He wasn't able to do much.
Right? Is that something like that? One tackle?
Yeah, so he was there, but he didn't do much. He got subbed off for Bootsma just after three-quarter time. There was a bit of a muchness. No one wasn't really required, and Bootsma didn't exactly set the world on fire in the last quarter. But I think Keishia is a definite find. And for a guy that we actually sent back after drafting him and then picked him up again a year later, that is a remarkable turnaround. I think we've got a keeper there.
Yeah. Kudos to the the selectors or scouts.
Yeah, look, they were clearly watching him after he was unlucky to sort of be taken off the rookie list in the first place, but we had to make some space, and to be watching him over in South Australia, what he was doing in the sample, and obviously keeping in his ear that we'd like to have him back. So it was kudos to them for recognising that he still had something to offer and letting him go in order to further his game. So that was a great outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap up that particular roundup there, and I'm going to do a very brief and for the first time ever Carlton news in 60 seconds. So set your stopwatches, and here we go. Jared Waite, Chris Judd and Brock McLean were all in the votes sent in for the Bigfooty Blues Player of the Year. Jared Kashia has received his second nomination for Best New Blue.
Ooh.
Jonathan Brown has failed in his appeal against the conviction for striking Michael Jamison and will miss the next 2 weeks as a result. Congratulations to Jeffrey Garlett for kicking his 150th goal on the weekend against Brisbane. And to Dennis Arnfield, who re-signed this week with the Blues for a further 2 years.
What a champ.
On the injury front, Kane Lucas has a slight hamstring twinge, while Andrew Carazzo is not expected to return this week from a foot injury. Robbie Warnock has copped a knock to the knee and will require a test before this week's match. Whether he plays or not is a different story. It's expected that Chris Yarran will, however, return to the side to face GWS. And finally, the Northern Blues will be on the ABC this weekend for their match against Collingwood. If you can't get the GWS game, then you might want to get hold of that because they'll be on at the same time.
What time?
About 2 p.m. on the ABC.
Ready.
And you can download it from iView afterward if you miss it. So that's Carlton news in 60 seconds.
That was longer than 60 seconds.
Yeah, big concerned. Yeah, exactly. It was good. It went well.
Well,
you should
whatever.
You should try that for after the game.
Awesome.
I'm thinking about it. Anyway, we're going to.
Can I just say how concerned I am about Robbie's injury and the test that he's going to have, and I think that he should cut back on kicking so much.
He's got turfed head.
Yeah, I fear for footballs everywhere if Robbie actually starts chasing them. Now, Carlton have got GWS this weekend, lads. Danger game. At Etihad at 1:45 p.m. on Saturday. It will be on TV in Sydney and Brisbane live and on 90-minute delay into Melbourne. Adelaide and Perth will get the Crows and Freo. So lucky us. Last time we played at Etihad, it was round 6 2012. It was the only other time we've played them in a premiership season. And Carlton 15-20, 110 defeated GWS 6-7-43. You'll note that we kicked 20 points in that game. So nothing's really changed. It's
not at all.
The Rats' plan continues to live on, apparently. As mentioned earlier, Lucas and Carazzo are not expected to play, and Yarran is expected to return. Interesting note, Carlton big man Sean Hampson, who is the Blues' fourth-ranked forward according to the AFL's official player ratings, received 3 votes in the Brownlow medal in the last game. He had 31 hitouts and 3 goals against the GWS in round 6 last year. Was also Bootsma's debut match. So, What do we think about this weekend, guys? How much are we going to win by?
Should do it easy.
200.
Should be. Oh God. We should be doing it on the bet. GWS at this stage, they haven't won a game. They don't present too many problems. However, they kept us honest for 3 quarters last year. So I'm not sure
the
what we're going
Hawks
to do.
pretty honest too. This was it last week.
And
Week 4?
they were pretty handy against us in the NAB Cup too. So
Yeah, that was a mini game. I don't. Yeah, no. Look, I think aside from some real class they've got as far as clearances, I expect them to win their fair share of clearances. So it's going to be up to the ruckman to tap it to advantage this week.
6th
in the league for clearances. GWS, we're 10th.
And we've got a bit of class up forward with Cameron, but we were plenty of class down back this year. So again, I think he'll do his best. But Jamison or Henderson will handle him fairly well. Jonathan Giles in the ruck. I think he's somebody we've got to watch. He's got a bit of talent as well. But overall, look, we're going to win by
200.
No, look, even if we're sort of taking it easy and resting players and stuff like that, if we don't win by 10
200.
goals. If we don't win by 210 goals, then there's a problem.
I would like to point out that last time they went to Etihad, they led Essendon by 28 points in the third quarter, before eventually losing by 39 points. Jeremy Cameron kicked 6 goals against the Bombers, and that was last time they played. But GWS have the second worst offensive lineup this season, and we have the 7th worst. So. Go figure.
Collingwood's the most offensive?
I don't know that. I'm looking at the stats for the game only.
No, I'm talking offensive.
Collingwood is always the most offensive.
Exactly.
Especially now. Kevin Sheedy will coach against Carlton for the 59th time with 33 wins, 23 losses and 2 draws. So,
Hate that bloke.
Don't we all? I've hated him since '93, so...
Smug little fat pig.
Yes. Interestingly, as well, Malthouse and Sheedy between them have coached 1,341 games and first faced each other 30 years ago.
Sheedy does not like the prospect of Malthouse passing him for premiership.
I reckon he'll coach Melbourne just to spite him.
It's a possibility. Yeah, good thinking.
You won't get a premiership out of Melbourne.
I don't think anyone will. Not for a while yet.
I was sitting next to a Melbourne. Are you going to edit this stuff, Woogie?
No, probably not. We're doing good for time. Go.
I was at that party on Saturday night, so I missed the game. I was sitting next to a board member of the Melbourne Footy Club, and I was saying, "What's going on there?" He says, "Oh, we just got to sit it through. We've had." They put it down to bad drafting over 10 years. And I said, please expand. And he said, look, you get 2 out of 3 of your calls wrong each year, you're stuffed.
Yep.
And that's what's happened to us. It's as simple as that.
Well, that's what happened to us a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He reckons it's just been year after year of just shit happens, bad luck.
And coinciding with GWS and Gold Coast coming in, and between them, you needed to take all the breaks you could get, and if you missed them, you were stuffed.
You pretty much get fingered.
All right, guys. It's time for the segment that everyone waits for. It's our most popular segment. It's time for questions for Doc.
You can't touch me, Doc.
It's time for questions for Doc. Here we go. The first question submitted by Space Cow in PM.
Cows in space.
If the number 2 pencil is the most commonly used pencil, why is it still number 2?
Do you poop it out or what?
I'm not entirely sure, but that's the question.
Good question.
And I know he listens.
It is a good question.
So
He does. He's
our only
posted
listener.
a fair few questions and been really good with them, actually.
Yeah.
So
he deserves an answer. What have you got?
He does. Well, I don't know. Maybe
inferiority complex, persecution complex. Did you call it an ape?
Personality disorder. I don't know.
Not enough lead in its pencil.
Oh, touche.
All right. Second question. Is it appropriate to apologise to a guy for having a supporter call him an ape, but then 3 days later offer him up as a promotional tool for the King Kong musical? Hey, at least I made it topical this time.
Come on,
Shit,
Doc.
I could get in trouble for this.
What do you got? Remember, it's the Carlton board here. We hate Collingwood. That's what we do.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
That's what we've done since 1882 or whenever those bunch of idiots came into being.
Should we all start smacking down Eddie with chins right now? Should I hand it over to everybody to start smacking him down?
How inappropriate could it have possibly have been?
What an absolute douchebag.
3 days earlier, he's down there shaking hands and trying to apologise for a 13-year-old
grandstanding.
calling him an ape. 3 days later, he is basically saying the same thing on radio.
Read my post.
No wonder Goods won't have anything to do with it. Goods has flatly refused to take the apology.
Good on him.
The AFL's sending him off to racial vilification training, as well they should, because they do it for a player. It's just as well to do it for an official as well. And the AFL's taking the right stance on
But
it.
Fat Vlad has already come out and said that Eddie's not a racist and, it was blah, blah, blah. He's a good bloke.
He's a complete douchebag, though. It doesn't really matter.
All right.
Dimitri is just...
Great mate. Shit bloke.
Moving right along. I've got a supplementary question without notice for ODN.
Oh,
Whoa, hang on. Questions for ODN. Hang on, where did that come from? Okay.
There we go. Dale Garlett, yes or no?
I haven't had an opinion on this up till now, but by the sounds of it, he's turning his life around. Is he a cousin of Jeffy?
He's some relative.
is he a rucksack?
Look, I like what we do with our Indigenous boys, and I believe in second chances or third chances or fourth chances if you're Brendan Favola.
You mean, yes, you believe in Favola.
So, yeah, look, why not? But I note that the question's been asked on all big footy boards at the moment, so I hardly think Carlton are keeping any sort of interest to themselves. So, but yeah, no, give him a go. If he's playing well, he deserves to be drafted. All that other stuff, which only seemed to be a bit of ego tripping and some teenage hijinks. I think, yeah, give him a go.
All right, guys.
Goddamn whippersnappers on Facebook.
Any other comments, queries, questions
On that?
on anything?
Oh no, you want to do some board talk?
I was hoping Chief would be here so I could ask him a question, but
No, Chief's never
No.
here anymore.
no, he's just
He figures we've got enough people on this motley ship to not require his input. We only need one person who doesn't watch the games on the podcast.
That's it. Yeah, I take that role pretty well, don't I?
Now,
That's all me.
it's time for board talk with ODN.
Yeah, I got nothing. No, I was joking. Want to make mention of a couple of threads, and no, it's not that thread.
But I put so much effort into it.
Oh, jeez, did I put some effort into it?
Actually, I've left it alone for the last day or two, but
Yeah, we did. We've
until
spent
this morning.
far too much time on talking about Sean Hampson. Couple of good threads out at the moment. I Bleed Blue has started a thread about Carlton's contested footy. We're second in contested possessions this year, and he's attributing that to Mick, of course, and some decent positive comment going on in that thread. Good to see. Another one that's promising, hasn't had a lot of responses yet, but too much spare time, don't we all? Has started a thread called the Backline, time for a review, and I think it's a good sort of evaluation at this point as to how our backline's travelling to this point of the year, and where the improvement's coming from.
I had to laugh at the Carlton v GWS, a historical perspective thread.
Yeah.
That must have gone into some depth. 25 replies.
Yeah, no.
What?
As I was saying at the time, that not one GWS player has ever joined Carlton. They must hate us. So,
That's it's like 25 replies, and it's all
They all want to go and play for Essendon.
three.
You know,
Especially the 24. My post in there wasn't exactly of worth.
I'll go for it. Delete them all. Blanket delete all your posts at the end of the year, mate.
Yeah, well, I figured that was going to happen anyway.
Hey, Wookie, while we were talking about Dennis Armfield before, good to see he's re-signed for 2 years.
I did mention that in the news. That it's
Yeah, but I bet as far as being a maligned player at different times and finally finding his niche, the thread about Armfield re-signing is all positive, and it's good to see he's become one of our favourites down there. So, that's what hard work and perseverance will do for you.
Well, there's irony for you. He's one of the favourites, and he's got a 5-page thread. Sean Hampson's thread's up to 32 pages.
He's hated.
Mainly fed by trolls like you, Odin. I may have force-fed it at the start, but you, my friend, have outdone everybody on that thread.
I thought that statistical stuff you put in, ODN, beautiful.
Yeah, it wasn't appreciated by all.
I thought it was. I thought
it was hated by most.
No, it's not about statistics. It's all about the liniment.
I don't get it.
The change rooms.
All these people are like, it's not about the stats. What's it about then?
Yeah.
What is it about? What is the coach going to look at? Oh, you felt good today.
You can't measure it. You can't manage it.
Geez, your hair looked good running around the field, Robbie.
Mm.
Now you're a handsome man. I'm leaving you in the team based on that.
You don't go at me, Gal. You're in the team. Wait, what?
Maybe that's what it's jealousy. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's right.
It's
pure jealousy.
I know Delulio to Wiggins wrote in the Hampson thread comparing him to Kane Ackland and Angus Graham.
Yeah, no, it's a bit unfair.
They're all jealous of Megan Gale.
What's going on there?
They're all jealous of his girlfriend.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised Cameron Cloak didn't get a mention.
You realise we're all on a knife edge here, guys. I mean, Hammer has another bad one in the VFL, or Warnock does particularly well against GWS of all teams. And
does anyone watch?
Careful! He might get 2 possessions next week.
I'll give you. Did
anyone watch Warnock play? I mean, seriously, his taps are good, okay, especially every first quarter. But as the game progresses, he becomes less and less relevant.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, and that's no knock on Robbie. I mean, he's a good ruckman. They're far worse than him going around the AFL. But
that there are.
To bag Hampson on the back of... Yeah, anyway, no point going over. I just think it's ridiculous. We've got 3 really good ruckmen. A couple are a bit more versatile than the other one. It's a dilemma for the club.
It is.
Yeah, well said.
It is a dilemma. Anyway, guys.
And I'll tell you something else. Malthouse is expert at playing guys into a good trade.
Yes, except ruckman, though.
Well,
you look at his last 10 years at Collingwood, mate. Josh Fraser, really? Lee Brown? Wow, what a catch he was.
No, but I'm saying he may very well be setting one up for a trade.
He may well be. He may well trade all 3 out with his history of ruckman. We'll have no ruckman next year.
Oh, don't make me have nightmares.
Seriously.
Be Sam Rowe rocking.
They'll all end up at the Gold Coast and GWS, and we'll end up with like more halfback flankers and Nick Maxwell types, and you can poke a stick at. And fat Heath Shaw lot.
No, I reckon he's wised up, the old Malthouse.
Porky Swans.
Anyway.
Are you guys looking forward to the big games coming up, or what?
There are some big games coming up. We've got Hawthorn coming up. We've got the Bombers coming up. And Collingwood isn't far away again either. So.
Oh, wouldn't it be good to beat Hawthorn for the first time in 10 years?
I wouldn't rule it out, given how well Gold Coast went against them.
Oh, jeez, I'd love to see that.
Hawthorn had Eddie Had. Oh God, I hate Eddie Had.
We all hate Eddie Had.
The Bay will go ballistic.
As long as we beat Essendon at the G and Collingwood at the G, I'd love to beat Hawthorn, but as long as we beat Essendon and Collingwood,
we got Sydney in that run too, guys. So that's what.
I reckon we'll knock them off.
I just hope we do well against the bye.
We'll do okay.
It's always the worry, isn't it? That bye round.
after those 4 big ones, we take on our nemesis St Kilda once more at Etihad. So
Get him next time.
We'll get him. Yeah. Look, I really do hope that the process has settled down and we've got the team settled down a bit. By then,
and Norths too. We've got to get Norths this year.
Yeah, North's another one. The way North are playing, they couldn't win a game in a handbag though. Seriously.
How did they manage to lose that game?
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. We've hit the 30-minute mark, which is pretty good actually. So I'm not even going to edit this week. It's going to go out as is.
Righto.
Guys, thank you very much for your participation in this 9th episode of the Big Footy Blues podcast. Thank you very much, ODN.
you're quite welcome.
And devoid of caring, well, you've been here.
He's gone.
No, I'm here. I'm only kidding. I'm just kidding.
I figured if I waited long enough, you'd be there.
Yeah, of course.
And just about like, thank you very much again, mate. We might get you back next week as well.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
No, we're saying goodbye now. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Cheers.
See you later, guys.